next 6 seconds, your spine will compress, your organs will shift forward, and your brain will slam into the front of your skull. That's not a metaphor. That's the physics of a plane crash, measured in milliseconds. 95% of people in survivable plane crashes make it out alive. A number that shocks almost everyone who hears it, but most of them almost don't, because of one mistake they make in the first 30 seconds after impact. We're going to walk through what happens to your body, second by second, from the moment metal starts screaming. And by the end, you'll know the one sequence of actions that separates the people who walk away from the people who don't. Here's what most people get wrong about plane crashes. They picture fireballs, mid-air breakups, catastrophic destruction. But the vast majority of crashes, roughly 75%, are classified as survivable or partially survivable. The National Transportation Safety Board studied every U.S. commercial aviation accident over a 20-year span. Of the roughly 53,000 people involved, over 51,000 survived, a rate of more than 95%. The problem isn't the crash. The problem is what you do in the 90 seconds after it. 90 seconds. That's the window engineers use when designing cabin evacuation procedures. And it's shorter than most people think. After that, in a post-crash fire scenario, the cabin fills with toxic gases: carbon monoxide, hydrogen cyanide, hydrogen fluoride. 3 breaths of superheated cabin air above 300 degrees can sear your lungs shut from the inside. But before any of that, let's start at the very beginning. The moment you know something is wrong. Kado is in seat 24C, middle seat, 35,000 feet up, watching a movie, when the plane lurches. The seatbelt sign pings on. The overhead bins rattle. A drink spills 2 rows ahead. Then the captain says words that will change the next 3 minutes of his life. Brace for impact. Your body immediately enters acute stress response. Adrenaline floods your bloodstream in under 2 seconds. Your heart rate spikes to 140 beats per minute. Blood pulls away from your extremities toward your core. Your pupils dilate. Time perception warps. Everything seems slower because your brain is sampling reality at a higher frame rate. This is your sympathetic nervous system hijacking every other function to keep you alive. But there's a cost. Roughly 75% of people in a sudden crisis don't fight and don't flee. They freeze. Psychologists call it behavioral inaction. Your brain is processing so much threat data that your motor system essentially buffers. It's the same reason a computer freezes when you open 40 programs at once. Too much input, no output. But that freeze breaks. And what you do in the next half second matters more than anything. Let's go to impact. The plane hits the ground at roughly 140 knots. About 160 miles per hour. Deceleration force hits your body at somewhere between 12 and 20 Gs, depending on the angle and terrain. For reference, a car crash at 30 miles per hour produces about 30 Gs. A survivable plane crash can produce less, but the force lasts longer. In a car crash, peak deceleration lasts maybe 100 milliseconds. In a plane crash, the deceleration pulse can last a full second or more. Multiple impacts as the fuselage slides, rotates, fragments. Your organs don't stop when your skeleton does. Your liver, your spleen, your heart, they keep moving forward inside you. This is called visceral displacement. Your internal organs tearing free from their anchors. Ligaments stretch and blood vessels shear at their attachment points. The aorta, your body's largest artery, is particularly vulnerable where it's anchored to the spine near your chest. And this is where the brace position saves your life. Not by magic, by physics. Kado grabs the seat in front of him and braces with straight arms, chin up. Here's why that can kill you. Straight arms transfer impact force directly to your shoulder joints and cervical spine. Your head, weighing roughly 10 pounds, becomes a 150-pound projectile at 15 Gs. Chin up means your neck takes all of it. The correct brace position: head down, hands clasped behind your skull, forearms against the seat back, feet flat, does 3 things. What would you do? Brace with your arms straight, or curl forward with your head down between your arms? The brace position wasn't designed by survival experts or flight attendants. It was engineered by crash test physicists using impact simulation data. They modeled the human spine as a compressive column and realized that flexing forward preloads your vertebrae in their strongest orientation. Your spine handles enormous compressive force along its vertical axis. That's what it evolved to do, supporting your body against gravity. But shearing force, sideways or whipping motion, snaps vertebrae. The brace position eliminates the whip. Impact happens. The sound alone is disorienting, tearing aluminum registers at roughly 140 decibels, louder than a gunshot. The cabin deforms. Overhead bins rupture. Luggage becomes shrapnel traveling at the speed of the deceleration. A 5-pound laptop bag at 16 Gs hits you with 80 pounds of force, enough to cause a serious concussion. The fuselage slides. Friction generates heat. If the fuel tanks rupture, housed in the wings, fire starts from the outside. In a survivable crash, the airframe usually stays mostly intact. The seats stay bolted, the floor holds. You are probably alive. You are probably conscious. And now the clock starts. 90 seconds before conditions become unsurvivable. The single biggest killer in survivable plane crashes isn't the fire and isn't the impact force. It's something nobody expects. Hesitation. Studies show the average passenger sits motionless for roughly 6 seconds after the plane stops moving. Behavioral inaction. Your brain buffering. Kado sits there. Smoke is already threading through the cabin. Thin, white wisps from the overhead panels. His first instinct? He reaches for his carry-on in the overhead bin. His passport, his phone, his laptop. The aisle is already filling with passengers doing the exact same thing. Reaching overhead, blocking the path, burning precious seconds. Reaching overhead takes 4 to 7 seconds per person. Multiply that by 30 passengers between Kado and the exit. That's up to 3.5 minutes of delay in a 90-second window. The math is fatal. Post-crash fires produce a phenomenon called flashover, the terrifying point where accumulated gases ignite simultaneously across the entire cabin. Cabin temperature can rocket from survivable to over 600 degrees Celsius in under 60 seconds once flashover begins. But there's one thing most people never learn. The air near the floor stays breathable far longer than the air at head height. Hot toxic gases rise. At seat height, you might have 10 seconds of breathable air. At knee height, you might have 2 minutes. The person next to you, a stranger, maybe elderly, maybe a child, is frozen in their seat, staring straight ahead. A firm touch on the shoulder and a single clear command. Unbuckle, follow me, now, can break the freeze response. You don't need to carry them. You just need to interrupt the loop their brain is stuck in. One sharp sensory input resets the system. This time, Kado knows better. He leaves the bag behind. He unbuckles, drops low, and moves toward the exit. Remember, 1. Brace correctly before impact. Head down, hands behind your skull, feet flat on the floor. 2. The moment the plane stops, unbuckle and move toward the nearest exit. Leave everything behind. 3. Stay low. Smoke and toxic gases rise. The breathable air is below knee height. 4. Count the seat rows to your nearest exit before takeoff. In blinding smoke, your hands become your eyes. 5. Once outside, move upwind and at least 500 feet from the fuselage. In that order. Without this knowledge, Kado reaches for his bag, blocks the aisle, and inhales superheated gas at head height. He never reaches the exit. With it, he's unbuckled in 2 seconds, crouched low, counting seat rows by touch, through the exit in under 45 seconds. Now you know something that could save your life, and most people never will. That's not luck, that's preparation. Next time you sit down on a plane, count the rows to your nearest exit. It takes 3 seconds. Type "stay low" in the comments if you'll remember the single most important rule from this video. Send this to someone who's flying this month. Once they see what happens second by second, they won't stop thinking about it. What's one everyday situation where knowing the science could save your life? Something most people never think about. A plane crash gives you 90 seconds. But what happens when something invisible is already inside you, right now, crossing into your brain? Microplastics in your bloodstream. That's next.